Welcome to this video. My name is Christian from the Premiere, and let's begin talking about episode 8 titled Thresholds, which is about to take us deeper into the nightmare than ever before. And I got some huge details about where it's heading. All of this is going from the Rotten Tomatoes details. Welcome and let's begin.
Ready?
So the synopsis for this episode 8 is the following. Accusations start flying and truths come to light. In the aftermath of a tragedy, Victor struggles to recover long-buried memories about the town past. Julie and Ethan search for answers about the mysterious ruins in the woods. So this points directly to the fallout from Tilly's death. The tragedy has happened, and now the finger pointing begins. But who will be the target? It makes sense it will be Sarah, going from everything that she has done in the past. But let's see. Well, that's just the beginning, and in this episode, we're gonna see our group split up across different locations. We have the gas station, the ruins, the root cellar, and most importantly, those mysterious locations where Boyd was trapped in season 2. All these locations, they're all places where all of the characters are going to find different answers. Thresholds, if you wanna see it that way. A point of no return, where reality seems to shift with Fatima's transformation accelerating or whatever is happening with her.
Whatever is inside me, it's still there.
It looks like these thresholds are not just physical anymore. With trust breaking down, with all these revelations coming out, we might be crossing some lines that cannot be uncrossed. The town is not just breaking bodies anymore, it's breaking them mentally. Which brings us to all the preview images because holy moly, From is about to take us on a crazy journey. So first off, we have our survivors are returning from that expedition into the woods. We have Jade, Tabitha, and Jim. But here's what's interesting. We see Jade heading straight to that bar. What answers is he going to find in this episode? Which connects to what we're gonna see with Victor, Sarah, and Tabitha, because the preview images show them heading into the church with Jasper. And if you've been following From's pattern, you know the church is never just a random location. It's where Sarah was kept. And now it might be where some major answers are coming to light. According to the episode synopsis, Victor's struggling to recover long-buried memories about the town past. And we know all of this connects to Christopher and Jasper, but what if these are not just his memories? What if Jasper, that creepy dummy, is somehow going to provide answers that we finally need? I don't see it happening, but it will be cool to see. And having Tabitha and Sarah this season, especially Sarah, has been nice to see because Victor has not been alone. Now, let's talk about Julie's determination to go back to those ruins because this girl got guts. It's not just bravery driving her, is it? It's something more. This scene where she tries to convince Randall to return going from the images. But I imagine Julie's not giving up on those ruins. She's trying to bring Randall back, but I imagine that he's going to be hesitant, probably still shaken by his cicada freakout during the driving lesson. This itself shows how Randall has been affected by what the town has put into his head. If you remember this connection to episode 7, remember how Julie felt something at the ruins. Even though Randall tried to downplay it, that was not just a random spooky feeling, it was a connection. The ruins are calling to Julie, and I think it's because of what happened to them there. Whatever trauma they share is tied to that place, and Julie's determined to understand it. Another connection, notice how Julie brings Ethan to the ruins instead of Randall, and now she's bringing Ethan into the chaos. Now this was interesting. We know Julie wants to go back to those ruins, and we need to focus on those shocking images of Julie in the caves because this could change a lot of things we thought we knew about From's timeline. We're not just seeing her in the chamber, this is the exact location that Boyd was trapped in season 2 and herself. How is she there? And most importantly, when is she there? Remember Boyd used fire to enter, so that makes sense. Julie might be literally walking through time in those caves and the dungeon. What if these caves are not just underground passages? What if there's some kind of temporal doorway or a faraway tree? Something happens there that's so terrifying, Ethan has to run for help. But let's talk about that tense moment with Julie because even though she looks terrified, there might be some hope here. When Ethan goes running for help after these events, whatever happens, we see Kenny and Acosta coming to the rescue. And in From, this is interesting timing. I mean, the town might be trying to break everyone apart, but in moments of crisis, our survivors still come together like we see here. And here's what's really interesting. They get Julie out of there, we see them helping her and moving her away from those ruins, which means whatever happened to her in that moment.
I feel like something wants me to go in here.
We can go in together if you want.
Because here's what's really interesting about this truth come to light. They're happening at the same time across different locations. We have Victor at the church with Jasper, Julie in those caves, Jade at the gas station. It's like the town is orchestrating this massive reveal across multiple places at once.
Hiding every night from those things, that's one thing.
Which disconnects to those accusations mentioned in the synopsis. Because after Tilly's dead, the town's about to show us exactly how fear can turn neighbors against each other. Think about it, we got multiple groups exploring different locations and secrets are being uncovered. So other images that we have is the continuation of Fatima's storyline. These preview images are showing her something terrifying. Remember how episode 9 synopsis mentions someone going missing? Well, after seeing Elgin leading Fatima to that root cellar and the creepy scene with the lady in the kimono, and I think we know who that's going to be. So think about it, we got Boyd and Ellis going into that shed to help her, but that's exactly when Elgin shows up before. I imagine, as we see her, that she's no longer there. And Elgin, now, he's not just randomly appearing, he's being guided there by the lady in the kimono. And the town has been setting this up since Elgin first found that root cellar in this episode 7. The synopsis says the following. Boyd is pushed to his limits as time begins to run out for someone he loves. After everything Boyd lost, and now he may lose his daughter-in-law too. And not just to death, but to whatever the town has planned for her in that root cellar. All these pieces are connecting. Elgin finding the root cellar, the lady in the kimono, and Fatima's transformation. And now these accusations in episode 8. The town is not just making Fatima disappear, it's using her, which connects about this terrifying connection between Elgin, Fatima, and the lady in the kimono, because it's more twisted than we thought. So we know that Elgin found that root cellar and he said this is where it happens, and now we know what is supposed to happen. And it involves whatever's growing inside Fatima. There's a pattern here. The lady in the kimono appears to Elgin, leads him to this specific location, and now he's looking for Fatima to help her. The lady in the kimono is orchestrating Fatima's capture, but for what? Because the lady in the kimono is not just some random ghost either, positioning Elgin like a chess piece, using him to get Fatima where she needs to be. That's why she led Elgin to that specific root cellar. The town is not just breaking Fatima, it's using her for something much darker. Now let's move into one of my new theories that I have. It's about time travel and how can it be used going from these images, because this could do something insane with the town. Now Julie doesn't just stumble into those caves, she could maybe go back in time to the history of the town or meet other people, because it looks like these are not going to be some random time jumping. The town is showing her specific moments for a reason. But here is where it gets really interesting. What if those caves are not just passages through space, but through time itself? Maybe they're not time travel, maybe it's some kind of time loop that the town keeps replaying. But using this, if whatever entity, like the bad entity of this town, controls this, is gonna use Julie to do his bidding. But how and what? And speaking of loops, think about this. What other time loops are waiting to be closed or open? What if everything that's happening from Boyd finding those talisman to Tabitha is part of one massive temporal puzzle that the town is slowly putting together? But why? Now, the last thing I want to discuss, and that is the investigations happening, because the town is not just creating suspicion, it's orchestrating a perfect storm. On one side, we got Kenny and Acosta interviewing, I imagine, people about Tilly's death. Well, everyone is gonna be quick to blame Sarah. But who it is, really? Well, we have this gut-wrenching conversation between Ellis and Fatima about what's inside her. Think about Fatima's words. Whatever's inside me is still there. This is not just some guilt talking. She's terrified of losing control again. When she says, what if it happens again? She's not wondering if it will happen, but when. The town is not just making her violent, it's making her aware enough to fear what she's becoming. But here's where it gets really interesting. While everyone's focused on finding Tilly's killer, Julie and Ethan are about to make their own terrifying discovery in those ruins. That moment when Ethan says, "You can go in together if you want." And then he says, "Ready?" He has no idea he's about to witness something that connects to the town's darkest secrets. And speaking of dark secrets, listen to what Donna tells Boyd. Hiding every night from those things, that's one thing. This is something people are going to have to blame someone for. She's not just talking about finding a killer, she's highlighting how the town is using this murder to tear apart everything Boyd's built. Now that's the whole breakdown for today and the preview for episode 8. Only 2 more episodes until the finale, well 3 episodes including this one. I have to say episode 7 was the weakest of the season for a lot of reasons that I will have to do a separate video on, but I feel bad that this episode was not good. Hopefully episode 8 is gonna be huge, and going from the images, I feel that it is. But that's the video for today. My name is Christian from Fromville Premiere, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.